Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Stringman Guitars. We're down here in the underground lair with a beautiful, beat up, well-used, well-made Carvin DC127. That's what the customer tells me, so that's what we're sticking with. The setup is pretty good on this. The E, low E and high E are slightly out of intonation. Everything else is set. The string height's good. The neck relief is good. Basically, we're looking for a string change and a slight setup. It's an alder body with a beautiful purple. The camera looks like it's blue, but it's purple flame maple top with a rosewood fingerboard. I told him he's going to need some fretwork eventually on this, but as for now, we're just doing a setup. It's got an original Floyd rose, which is set properly. It's level with the body. Let's see what else we have here. So I don't have to mess with the height. String height's good, relief is good, everything is good. There are some sharp fret ends here that I'd like to address, so we're going to take care of those. There's one place where the looks like it was dropped or something. The fingerboard on top of the mahogany neck has been gouged out here at the, looks like 7th fret, no, 9th fret. I was running my fingers down there, ow. Okay, so for those who don't know, a Carvin DC127 or 135 is a neck through design. If you see right here, it's lighter color than the surrounding alder wings. That is the neck that starts way back down here, goes all the way up. A lot of marks on this, but it's a well-loved guitar. I notice it's got spurs and lockings, but it's missing the locking nut on this particular tuning machine. Not necessarily a big deal since it's a Floyd and they're locked here anyhow. So yeah, I'm going to address some of the sharp fret ends with my handy little file that has no sharp end on this side. It's rounded, and then on the sides it's a file, so it can actually work on a bare piece of wood without leaving any marks on the wood. So while we're at it, and give a plug to SKYSCRAPER Guitars. These guys, try to get them out of the blur there. There we go. They make these blocks that are little stair-step sort of designs. I don't know if you could tell that in there or not. And they have 4 different sizes, and you put it in here at the right angle. You back off your screws to the trim claw until this is in there nice and tight, and your bridge is flat like it's supposed to be. Now you can go to work knowing that the bridge is going to stay where it's supposed to be. So I can go ahead and take the strings out. And the other thing that you want to remember is all these little pieces in here in the Floyd rose, when they come loose, we don't want to flip the guitar over until this is restrung correctly. because if you flip this thing over and these aren't tight, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So, that being said, I'm going to unstring it and get to work. Alright, boys and girls, we have our new strings on. Oh, by the way, strings today are brought to us from Dario NYXL. They're supposed to be some pretty tough strings, so let's go ahead and bring this up to tune. How about we just stretch in the strings first, so we don't have to deal with tuning issues later. We went from 9s to 10s, so the angle of attack has changed. So we readjusted the block that's in there so that the bridge is flat again. Okay, so we're tuning this to E flat. Let me tune it to pitch. Okay, we fought with the key, and we got both the E's back intonated. So far what we have here is polished the frets, cleaned the fretboard, and put some Formula 1 on the fretboard. New strings were tuned to E flat. I think we're pretty much done at this point. I'm going to let it sit overnight and acclimate to a different string on it and double check the intonation. The string height is perfect, and let's just double check where that is right now. Yep, it's at 4 all the way across, right where it should be. The bridge is flat. Let's see what else. Give you an up close of that block that's in there from SKYSCRAPER Guitars. They're not cheap, but they're well made and they do the job. So once you get everything set to where you want it, you lock down your strings, you come around the back, and you tighten these 2 screws in until this just falls out. That's my plan, that's my story, and that's what I'm sticking to. So we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see where we end up with. Okay, so as I was saying with the Carvins, I can get an E flat here. Come on, you can do it. Alright, you can get an E flat there, and it's an E flat there. Everybody says you got to do it in playing position, but that's not the case. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and let this sit overnight, unplug, turn off. If you have a Floyd Rose, I strongly suggest spending the $13 that these things are. You can find them on Amazon. You can go to StewMac and pay too much. But it's called the Floyd Rose Intonation Key. Must have for anyone who works on guitars or has a Floyd Rose guitar. Same thing with SKYSCRAPER. Makes your life way easier. Alright, welcome back to the underground lair. We have our DC127, new strings, polished up frets, cleaned up fret ends. Everything is back together. It's locked down. We got pickup heights adjusted. Just one last run through to make sure that everything stayed where it's supposed to stay. Looking for, there it is. Just exactly what I want. 1/10,000ths at the 7th fret and 4/1000ths. So our setup is right, the bridge is still flat. So what we do now is intonation is set also. We had our E and G and low E, I think. I can't be sure. You'll have to check the beginning of the video. That were not intonated. The last thing to do is to remove this SKYSCRAPER block. So what you got to do is start tightening the screws in until the block comes out. Try to do it with one turn at a time, keeping the claw level. Maybe a half a turn at a time. Don't want to take it too many turns because then and be careful that your magnetic tip of your screwdriver doesn't grab other parts and flip them off your bench. So what was I saying now? Oh yeah, we're going to keep on tightening the claw and until the block is loose, and it's starting to come a little loose, so maybe one more turn. Almost. And there it is. Okay, now that the block is out, the trim is still flat. We'll double check our tuning, because chances every time I've done this, there's a slight chance in tuning. But let's see. Okay, here we are back with our DC127. We've removed our block. The bridge is flat. Our intonation is set. We have the relief set at 0.010 at the 7th fret with a capo on, holding at the end of the bridge, or the end of the neck. Strings are pretty well stretched in. Height is 4/64 across. And other than cleaning it up, all we got to do is put the back plate back on it and clip them string loosey-gooseys over here. I never take them off until I'm totally done, because this thing is always a balancing act. We have our pickup height set. Frets have been polished. There's still, like I told Buddy, there's going to be some fretwork needed pretty soon on this, but it was just brought in here for a setup. So the last thing to do before we make sure that everything is good to go is we put on our fancy Floyd Rose tremolo bar. And do some stretching, final stretching. Yeah, and nearly everything is stretched in. By the time Buddy gets this, he will have everything will be ready to go. And that bee has always been making a noise here, and I don't know why. The saddle looks fine here. I don't see anything in there that would be bad. There's nothing up here that would be bad. It's not too high, or not too close to the frets. So no matter where you play this, it kind of sounds dead. So a new saddle piece might be required here. It just does it. I'm sure when it's plugged in, it's not going to sound that way. So other than doing a little cleaning on it, we're ready to go. I'm going to call Buddy, let him know to pick it up. Good Floyd Roses, unless you have one of these guys here, the SKYSCRAPER, come to the rescue. Get in the light there, throw those guys a bone. If you don't have one of those with these Floyd Roses, you got to resort to using stacks of sticky notes, which if anybody's ever worked on a Floyd Rose knows that halfway through the setup it will compress. These do not compress. So that's all from the underground layer. Just going to clean it up a little bit. This really has been played a lot. There's a lot of dings and dents in here. The finish has been rubbed off here by picking or fingernails or something, I don't know. And everything works. The electronics work. All the string height's right. I did clean up the fret ends and tried to make this a little bit less obtrusive here, where the I'll show you that real quick if I didn't earlier. Yeah, you can see that right there. There's a chunk of rosewood taken out somewhere along the line. Probably accompanies all the other stories with this guitar, with the dings and dents and whatnots. But a beautiful guitar is the one that gets played, not the one that sits in the case and never gets played. No one wants, well, some people do. Most players don't want a case queen. So y'all be good to each other. Say prayers for those who need it. If you're into that, I certainly am. And if you guys need your axe to be sharp again, bring it on by. Hit me up on Facebook, subscribe to the video, and see you later.